How do you open that side? Click on your pivot table. Click on your pivot table. Right click, hide field list. Right click, show field list. Got it? Well, we're gonna.
Just drag and drop the product.
That's all you're gonna do, just drag and drop. Anyone else? Is this gentleman okay at the back here? Is he okay?
Did you figure it out?
Anyone else need help? Everyone else okay? Everyone else okay? Remember the Macs, what happened to the Mac people? Did you find out how to make it work or it just won't work?
No.
It won't work, right? Okay. I don't have a Mac, so I can't play with one. Okay. Now, what have we done? Let's summarize. What have we done? We have taken an Excel spreadsheet and we've created a pivot table that is connected. That's the word, connected. That is the actual word in Microsoft Excel. Connected it to a database. That database could have been in another building. It could have been the main databases you'll see in the United States, DB2, SQL Server, and Oracle. Those are the three main databases. Okay? Now we've attached it to a database. Okay, it happens to be Access, a toy. I know I'm insulting when I say that, but it is. It's a toy of a database. But it has got what we call the one-to-many, many-to-many data relationships that a real database has. Okay? So, we've attached to a database. That's the key point. And that database could have been in another building. It so happens that it's sitting on my flash drive on your machine, but that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. Could be across campus, could be in another state. You may be at Siemens in Philadelphia, attached to the database here and all that stuff. Okay? Excel, you saw how easy it was to connect to Access. It is just as easy to connect to SQL Server, Oracle, and DB2. That easy, that easy. Now, once we got connected, we're able to create this pivot table. Now, what I'm asking you to do is the regression. I didn't finish the chart off. It tells you how large to make it. I didn't go up and change that. I'll let you change that. Okay? The color, I'll let you play with the color. Okay? Didn't I give you a heading? I think I gave you a heading for it. Yep, I gave you a heading. So I'll let you do all that. Okay? Now, what I want you to do is just do these regressions. And I've separated them. Look carefully, product group, product subgroup, product. So under product group, we're going to do all three. There's only three. If you go to Del Monte on their website, they say 3 product groups. Fruit, tomatoes, vegetables. I think tomatoes are vegetables, wouldn't you? Anyway, these are the 3 groups that they have identified on their website. And then product subgroups. These are their product subgroups. Well, so they've got a lot more, sorry, but I've just asked you to do it for apricots, carrots, stewed tomatoes, and then we do products, 4 products. So we're going to do 3, 6, 10 regressions. And how many products is in their database? 300 and something products in that 50,000 records. So, the first thing we want to do is product group. Well, you need to make sure that the filter page, okay, the filter page, this is what they call the filter page, this one here, is product group. Product group is sitting in here. Okay? Yes?
So, when we turn in our assignment, do we turn it in with the product group or do we put product description?
When you, wait on. So we're going to do product group, okay? And the first one we're going to do is vegetables, okay? So we're going to do vegetables. So I choose vegetables. Let's scroll back up. Let's scroll back up. Okay? And while you're here, just note that line S and the chart, what do? They agree. They should agree. We're in trouble if they don't. So they do agree. We need these two values out of here. We need those two values. There's the variable, there's the fixed, and transfer them down to here. Okay?
Which two variables?
Well, the variable cost per unit and the fixed cost in total.
Right, which numbers?
Which, you tell me, which two are they?
I can't see.
Let me get out of your way. Which two are
The
they?
one in the formula?
Well, we can get it from two places, couldn't we? What's the variable cost per unit? Hold on. What's the variable cost per unit?
0.79.
Y equals mx plus b. M, variable cost per unit. B, fixed cost in total. What is the variable cost per unit for vegetables?
0.78. Yeah.
0.787. 0.78, they better agree, right?
Yes.
They had better agree. What's the fixed cost in total? 3589. 35, they had better agree. Better agree. Folks, you're at Siemens, you're at Lockheed Martin, you're at KPMG. Doesn't matter where you are, you're making a presentation. You're probably not going to do line S in the presentation, but you're going to do a chart, a nice chart, and as your pivot table changes, your regression changes in the chart. Why a chart? Because it looks nice, okay? And people can understand it. Look at all the data points. Look at all the data points. And we stretch it out. Let's make the chart a little larger. Stretch it out, okay? All those data points. Well, you know there's 50,000 pieces of data out there in that database. Yes?
How many decimals do you want us to type out?
Well, I didn't stipulate. Oh, you're talking about here?
Yeah.
Okay, well hold your mouse over it. Hold your mouse over it. For variable cost, 2. For the fixed cost, how many decimal points?
0.
Got it. Got it. Yes?
So as we change, from product group, we just, put the different name. and-
Okay, well let's wait on, let's keep going, and I'll see if I answer your question. So, we've done the vegetables, everyone agree? Now let's go and do, what's the next one? Tomatoes. Let's choose tomatoes. If I had been watching the data, what would have happened over here? The data would have been refreshed, went out to the database, 50,000 records, read it, brought it in, so darn fast, you wouldn't even see it change. And the regression results change. So we can now take the regression results, read it from the chart, read it from line S, bring it down enter the values. And then we'll do the last one, which was fruits. I mean, it's so fast, you don't even see anything happen, other than the name, the values changed. Copy it down, and now we're ready to do, and that's why I put a line in here to make sure you notice. Now we're gonna do subgroups. Do subgroup. So choose your pivot table. Everyone, Lee, with me? Pull product groups out and drop in product subgroups. Drop in product subgroups, and here are all the subgroups that Del Monte has identified on their website for all their products. And what did I ask you to do? Apricots, carrots, and stewed tomatoes. So apricots was right at the top, choose it, and the regression is done. And you can see a lot of data points, but far fewer than when we had up the highest level of fruit on products. Okay? And so we're going to do those 3 regressions, and then we drop down and we take out product subgroups, and what do we now pull in? What do I now pull into the pivot table for filter? Anyone over this side? What do I pull in? Product description. Just product description. There it is. Drag it and drop it. Now, look at the size of that scroll bar. See? Because I think it's something like 300 different products. Look at their yellow clean peach chunks, no sugar. Everything imaginable. I just copied their website. Okay, so I asked you to do 4 things. Asparagus cuts and tips. Where is it? Asparagus cuts and tips. There it is, right there. Choose OK. And you can see, far fewer points, because we're drilling down into the data. Have you heard the expression, data mining? Have you heard that expression, data mining? Data mining means to drill down into the data, looking for relationships in your data. That's what we're doing here, data mining. Okay? And we've done the regression. Any questions? Nobody got injured. Nobody's crying.
Are we supposed to have the same numbers that you have?
Well, better wait a moment, let's see.
Because mine are off by like a couple numbers.
Will your numbers be the same as mine? Should be the same.
Mine are off by like 1, so like the t-value, the bottom.
Okay, so do you have, first of all, do you have apricot cuts and tips?
No, when you were doing it, I haven't done that one.
You do apricot cuts and tips. Your apricot cuts and tips.
Yeah, because when you did like the first 2, mine were all.
That'll be the same as mine. Do apricot cuts and tips. John, does your apricot cuts and tips agree with mine?
Oh, I was filling in the chart.
Do apricot cuts and tips. Yours agree? Thank you. Agree? Yeah. It should agree. Should agree. It will agree. It will agree.
Which one was that?
Apricot cuts and tips.
I have a question about the chart. When you type in series X value, where do you find the name of the logo?
Okay. Go over and help.
Where did you find that?
Anyone else? Yes.
I don't know when I clicked to add an extra sheet, but once I delete that, it shouldn't mess
Yeah,
up everything.
that's okay. That's okay.
Alright, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, that's a good question. Everyone okay? I'm sorry. Sorry. .75604. You are absolutely right. Yes?
See, but I have like 20.657, 21.
For cuts and tips. Okay, I'm glad someone disagrees. His variable cost for cuts and tips is different to my variable cost. Anyone want to suggest to him why? This is good that a student got an answer different to mine. I'm glad it's only one though, because it lets everybody know that, hey, we can do this, and it also lets them know we can do it. But I'm glad we got one that was different. When remember when I was at the hospital talking to that woman in nursing and she showed me that memo? Remember? And when I saw 92%, I wasn't 100% sure, but I was 99% sure I knew what had happened. They hadn't flexed the budget. Well, what I'm going to try and get you to do now is you're listening to a manager, and the manager doesn't agree with your data. Why? I think I know why, but I may be wrong. Anyone want to give it a shot? Anyone? What do you think he's done? His variable cost, you do have asparagus tips and cuts, okay? But his variable cost doesn't agree, but you know everyone else does. So he's got to have done something wrong. I'm pretty sure I know it. Yeah. He hasn't got his range name set up correctly for X and Y. That's the problem. Okay?
Is it an off by one maybe? Like an off by one?
Well, he's done a mistake on the range name. What it is, we'd have to look. Could be off by one, could be off by more. But it's a range name. Maybe wrong, but I'm dead on it. Okay, now folks, listen. First of all, you're going to have to take my word for it. This was extremely advanced. Extremely advanced. Now, some of you found, when setting up those dynamic range names, you made a mistake, right?
Yes.
And what did you do? Just take it out and put it back in again. Well, you know that some things we do in Excel, you've got to be really careful. So that was the lesson. Make a mistake, next time you got it right. You've got to be really, really careful. Now, it was extremely advanced. Did we all do it? Looks like we all did it. All the people with Windows machines did it. I will promise you that on your job interview, 80% of the people interviewing couldn't do this. If I'm wrong, I'll buy you dinner. That's how confident I am. This is extremely advanced what we did. Now let's look at the impact on you people. I don't see anybody crying. I don't see anybody upset. It looked like all the Windows machines have worked. You did it. Right? You did it. So well done. Now, just a couple of things. Let's have a look at where we are. Let's have a look. Remember this sheet I handed out? Well, I've actually, you can't see mine, mine's colored, but range names, I know you can hardly see it, but we did dynamic, we didn't do constants, but the fact that you did dynamic range names, you can do simple and constant. Now simple, we did do it in chapter 10. Remember I named the cell Q, lowercase f, lowercase v, those are what are called simple range names. And then a constant, we didn't do it, but that's trivial. That's trivial. So we did dynamic. Now, you can't see this little bit here. What it says is spark lines. Spark lines. Anyone heard of spark lines in Excel? No?
Part of it.
Okay, well, spark lines is new in 2010, 2013. Let me come over here, insert.
It's kind of rough, isn't it?
Yeah, see these spark lines here? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me help put it up. Spark lines. It's a way to put just a little chart in a cell. And it's actually in the cell. Whereas this chart, see, it's above the sheet. But a spark line actually goes in the cell. Well, it was a new feature in 10 and 13. We didn't do anything, but I will get something in next semester when we do the learning curve. That's a good place to have it on learning. Back over. We didn't, under the analysis tool pack, we just did regression. But I have stuff planned for descriptive statistics, t-test, and ANOVA for next semester. In fact, the people that came to my office this morning, Lee, and who else came? Someone else came, I think. That's what I was working on when you came in. Okay, the analysis tool pack stuff. And then down here, in terms of these Excel functions, these are all the ones I want to get in. We had a pretty good shot at it. Didn't get them all. We'll get more next semester. So we're a piece of work in progress. Any questions, folks? Any questions on the assignment?
The chart itself, are we being graded on it?
Yeah. Yeah, everything over here is what you're getting graded on. Okay? So you've got to have this. That's what you're getting graded on. Now just one thing on the grading. I've tested it. Seems to be okay. I'm a little nervous. Who's, imagine after tonight they'll start to come in, maybe late today. If you don't get your grading back, if someone sends it in today and you don't get it back, I'm up here until 9 o'clock. When I get home, if I look at the computer monitor and everything's okay, I'm gonna go have a cold beer or two. But if I've got a problem, I'll deal with it when I get home. But I think it's all running okay. So it's advanced on your side, it's advanced on my side. Because when you send that work to me, that workbook to me, you're also sending that data connection, right? So the first thing I have to do is sever that data connection. But I've tested it, I think everything's okay. So you should get your feedback. For those people that came in a little late, I've put 20 points on this assignment. Is that fair? 20 points? Should we make it more or less?
You make it more.
More. Yeah, more. Who needs extra points this semester? What are some suggestions? Be responsible students. Let me hear.
How much is the final work?
The final's worth 200 points.
Make it with 50.
Make this worth 50 points?
Yeah.
Those two cells a couple weeks ago were like 40 points.
How about we make this worth 40 points?
Alright, okay.
Now listen up. The students that haven't come today, there's going to be shit hit the fan. When they get their quiz result back and they see that 40 points is what they missed out on.
Is it still gonna be added, like, is this like bonus points, like it'll still be?
It'll be 40 points for this quiz.
I know, but like, is it?
Instead of when you add up your points, instead of 10 points, add up 40 points in it. It's a good deal.
But is it still at 540 total points? Like,
No, it'll be 570 now.
Okay.
5, so you just said to make it 40 points.
Changing the denominator.
Change the denominator. 40 points it'll be. 1 for coming, 2 for doing a good job and getting it right, and 3 not crybabies. There will be, I'm gonna have some crap on my side when students see their performance report next Monday. You didn't tell us it was 40, you weren't in class. Remember, those that came in late, I've already had one official complaint this week. The student had to go to Dallas for Thanksgiving and filed a written complaint that it was unfair to have class. Can you believe it? Administration just laughed. I have another student filed a complaint about 3 weeks ago. I'm married with 2 children. It's unfair, the workload. Can you believe it? That also got the same treatment. So I can imagine next week there'll be some students really upset. Don't worry. Don't worry. If you're not in class, your problem. You're here, you get rewarded. 40 points. Now, for those of you that came in late, I'm going to be sending you a survey within the next week. I would appreciate you taking 5-10 minutes to fill it in and send it back to me. For the 2 students who are in the office, you would be up in the office lately. I'm working on the new system. A lot of changes, and I do need your feedback. Okay, so I'm going to be asking you just some simple little questions. If you'll respond to it, send it back to me. And be honest. Folks, I'm old enough, taking it on the chin enough in my life. Be honest. It sucks. Be blunt. Okay? You know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get you to learn Excel. And at the moment, I'm pretty happy. Could we have done more? We could have. We'll do more next semester, but I hope I don't see any of you, except socially. Question? Okay. On the portrait sheet, good, you just made me think of something. So when you send in your pivot table for grading, leave your pivot table with whole new potatoes. Okay? Leave the pivot table with whole, because that's the last regression, isn't it? That's the last regression. Everyone with me? So I will expect to see in the pivot table, when it comes in, whole new potatoes. Now on this portrait sheet, when I sent it out, if you look on row 22, products description, when I created this sheet, what did I have in the filter page? I could have had one of 3 things: groups, subgroups, or just product. Well, when I created this sheet, I had finished all this. This is what was in there: product on the filter page. Okay? I have a little program that I wrote that will scan this to create what's in column AA. Okay? So when it created column AA, what was sitting down here was whole new potatoes. That's the last regression. Lee?
And the chart location is B50, which means the top left.
Yeah, chart location.
Top left corner of the chart.
Yeah, you don't have to be exactly in the corner as long as you're within that, because then I know where to go find it. Okay? There's something in Excel called chart dot top left corner. That's actually what it is. Top left corner, so I can find it. Yes?
The last filter to be product description, you want to leave it as
Yeah, just leave product description, whole new potatoes, okay? Pretty good, folks. Any questions? Proud of you.
Al, what has gone wrong in my progression?
No question? My advice, eat to a state of dullness and drink to a state of elevation. Because I'm going to be doing that tomorrow. See you, well, I hope I see you socially and not professionally.